What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan here with a new video. Today's video, I'm doing a podcast slash video, so if you guys are listening to the podcast version, do appreciate you tuning in. If you're on YouTube, also appreciate you for tuning in. Just going to go over where I see the Bears right now. Hasn't been an episode on the YouTube, on the podcast. This is what I've talked about. But I kind of want to do one of these videos slash episodes a week and give it to you on both sides, so you can either watch it on YouTube, Spotify, any of those podcast platforms, and just kind of grow from there and see how we do with it. So basically, we are 2-1 right now, and as a Bears fan, I'm not happy with it. And it's not that I'm not happy that the Bears are winning, because obviously you're happy when your team is winning, no matter if you're in a rebuild, a contender, anything like that. I'm more upset of how we're winning games right now. So on the record book, we're 2-1. We have a positive record. We got the Giants, Vikings, Commanders coming up, Patriots if Mac Jones is out, Cowboys if Dak is out. We have a lot of winnable games coming up. What I'm upset about is, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right here, the passing yards. 105 in that terrible game against the 49ers. Terrible not in the fact of how we played, terrible just the weather conditions and all that. 105. Week 2 against Green Bay, when we lose by 17 points. Justin Fields, like, you look at it. I mean to click Green Bay. We'll look at it here. And we got Justin Fields passing for 70 yards. So you don't take into consideration when quarterbacks get sacked. And we look at last week. Justin Fields, 8 of 17 for 106, 2 picks, 5 sacks. And to me, what I see from this Bears team and what worries me the most is we're running the ball great. I mean, 281 rushing yards. Khalil Herbert looked really good last week. David Montgomery is going to be banged up. Totally get that. And then against Green Bay, 180 yards. Green Bay's never been really a good rush defense. They have their games, but they're primarily a better pass defense. Kind of let you gain yards but don't score type of defense. But the passing yards. So if you take away the sacks, we have about a little over 200 yards in 3 games. If you don't put in the sacks, we're probably closer to about 300, but that's not good. The passing attempts is not good. If Ryan Poles and Eberflus believe that Fields is their quarterback, which is yet to be known, really. I think they kind of say it publicly, but if that really is their quarterback, because we've seen Poles, it's pretty much cleared house. Like, there's a lot of guys from the Ryan Pace team, Matt Nagy guys, that they're cleaning house. So they're getting rid of contracts. They're getting rid of personnel. There's a lot of people, they want their personnel in there, which isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad. But if you say publicly that Justin Fields is your future, like, we need to see something out of him. Like, 15 pass attempts is not what you see out of your franchise quarterback. You have to realize you're not a contender. We are not a contender. We can go and have a positive record. We're not a contender. We're not a team that's going to go in the playoffs and beat a Eagles team. We're not a team that's going to beat the Vikings. We're not a team that's going to beat the Packers or the Buccaneers or the Rams or the 49ers. Like, we're not going to beat these teams. We beat the 49ers in the regular season. Yes, I get that. But when it comes to playoffs, it's a total different story. You can't see what your quarterback is capable of by only throwing 15 pass attempts and trying to protect him. The Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence last year, don't get me wrong, terrible situation for Trevor Lawrence, and he should have never been put in a situation like that. But they let him throw the ball. He had really no talent around him at all. DJ Chark, Treadwheel, Marvin Jones, like, those are his receivers. Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, I'd say good receivers, but they're not number 1 receivers. They give him Christian Kirk to be number 1 receiver, and he's working. I still don't think if he is the number 1 receiver. But They gave him weapons. They let him throw the ball. They let him get interceptions. They let him make decisions to win and lose games. Why? Because he's their franchise quarterback. You need to get the quarterback comfortable. Sometimes they have to be uncomfortable. You have to put them in uncomfortable situations. But you can't protect your franchise quarterback in what's a rebuild year. This is a rebuild year. Like, we got a lot of young pieces on that defense, which is amazing. And that defense is... Eberflus is a defensive guy. He wants his pieces. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with our secondary right now. Like, Gordon's only going to get better. Brisker's really good and letting Jackson play what he needs to be. Jalen Johnson is being a lockdown corner. Very good. Roquan Smith, we need to sign him. That defensive line has got some pieces there. Like, this isn't a terrible defense at all. That defense is what's going to win us games. Clearly, you've seen the defense is what's going to win us games. But you have to give an offense. You have a potential franchise quarterback. You have a really good receiver in Darnell Mooney. Khalil Herbert, I think, is going to be good until his contract's up. I don't think we pay Montgomery now after the injury. I like Cole Kmet. I want them to use him more. That offensive line definitely needs work. A lot of work, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of young guys in there that hopefully pan out. They drafted like 7 offensive linemen, and I really hope they pan out. But you have to let Justin Fields throw the ball. Like, it's as simple as that. Let him be in those uncomfortable situations. Let him win you games. Like, if you go back to last year and you watch a game against Pittsburgh, where they let Justin Fields throw the ball. Like, let him win or lose the game. Like, that's what you need. You're not going to beat these teams in the NFC. It's not going to happen. Like, it's one of those situations to where, like, you're in a rebuild. We want a good draft pick next year. You know, don't get me wrong. Like, I want the Bears to win. But we're not going to compete. It's a loss year. There's no way we compete with these teams in the playoffs if we get there. Like, we have to beat the Lions out, the Vikings out, and hopefully get a wild card spot, because it's yet again Green Bay's division to lose. But you have to let him throw the ball. Like, we look at some of the stats last week, and I know if you're listening to it on a podcast, you really can't see, but going over some of the drives against the Texans, like, they're doing what they need to do. They're playing above expectation. The Texans really are. But we'll go over some of the drives. 9 plays, 45 yards, field goal. Next drive, 6 plays, 81-yard touchdown. Next drive, 2 yards, interception. 3 plays, punt. 3 plays, punt. 12 plays, field goal. 5 plays, halftime. Come out of the half, their first drive, touchdown. 3 plays, punt, pick. 9 plays, punt. 4 plays, punt. 4 plays, field goal. So, 12 drives, and there were 6 drives, 4 plays or less. Like, you know, it's not the greatest, but it's the yards. So 45 yards, 81 yards, 50 yards, 75 yards, 44 yards. We had a 1 yard, but that's the interception. 3 yards punt, 6 yards punt, 4 yards punt, or pick, 20 yards punt, and then the game-winning field goal by the defense. Like, I just want them to use Justin Fields in the way that he should be used. That's really all I want. Like, looking at the numbers right now, I know you can't see it on the audio side, but you get Roquan Smith 16 combined tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a pick, a pass deflection. I know that you don't want to overpay and you want to get a team, and I'm okay with that, but you have to find a way to try to get Roquan Smith. Like, other teams are finding ways to push money. Push money then. Like, you're not paying Justin Fields right now. You have $150 million on the cap. There's no top talented wide receivers right now that are going to be free agents next year. All of them are getting locked up. Quarterbacks are getting locked up. Like, you have Darnell Mooney, you have Cole Kmet, you have a wide receiver 1/2 in Darnell Mooney. If he's a wide receiver 2, that's fine. If we could find a way to get a wide receiver, whether it be a trade, somebody cuts somebody, anything like that in the draft, like, I'm okay with getting somebody else with Darnell Mooney. I think Darnell Mooney could be a number 1 receiver for this team. You just need more help. Cole Kmet, I think we just have to get him involved. I think he could easily be our tight end for the future. But, like, you have to pay guys that are going to win you games. Roquan Smith is that guy. Like, he wants to be in Chicago. He knows what it's like to be the middle linebacker in Chicago and what that means. Like, make him be that guy. Push the money down. All other teams are doing it. There's no reason we can't do it. Like, we're not paying anybody big. Roquan Smith is, or Robert Quinn, I think, is going to be our biggest contract. Like, Jalen Johnson's due for a contract. Cole Kmet's due for a contract. You're paying Jalen Johnson. If we're keeping him, like, by all means, we need to pay Jalen Johnson. He's our number 1 corner. Cole Kmet, I don't think we really have to pay that much. Like, he hasn't had great enough numbers to where we need to pay him money that's going to hurt the team and impact them. Like, defensively, you have Roquan Smith, Eddie Jackson, Brisker, Johnson, Gordon. You have your secondary. That's your secondary. Like, you don't need to pick up anybody in free agency. Maybe a slot corner to get rid of Vildor, but that's about it. You're still going to have Robert Quinn under contract. Gibson's there. Robinson, the nose tackle, I believe, looks really good. Like, getting a lot of pressure type good. So, like, what are we saving money for? $150 million. Pay Roquan Smith. I don't want to pay Montgomery. I don't think Montgomery is... Khalil Herbert obviously shows what Khalil Herbert can do. We've seen it last year too. Granted, Houston has a terrible run defense, but regardless of the fact, like, just need to pay him and go forward with it. So I end the episode here. We have the Giants. We're at the Giants Sunday. We're at Minnesota the week after that. We have a Thursday night game against Washington, a home game, which is huge. And then where it gets really interesting is we have the Patriots on Monday night. So we get an 11-day break between the Commanders and Patriots. If Mac Jones is there, it's probably going to be a little rougher for us to win, but it's a game. The Cowboys and how good that defense is, that's going to be scary. But it's not like they're unwinnable. You have a lot of winnable games. So let Fields throw the ball. It's 45 pass attempts. 45. So, I'm going to go and look really quick. So if we go in pass attempts and look at quarterbacks. One game, Dak had 29 pass attempts. Through a game in, a quarter, 2 quarters, Trey Lance had 31. Jimmy Garoppolo has 50, and he's played a game less than Justin Fields. He has 5 more attempts in 1 less game. Cooper Rush played two games in a quarter, 75. So let's say Marcus Mariota is the only other name that's played all 3 games all the way. On Atlanta, who's a rebuild team. Like, they're a rebuild team as well. He has 79 pass attempts. 79. Like, Ryan Tannehill, who doesn't throw the ball, has 80. That's all I ask from the Bears organization as a Bears fan, and I hope that other Bears fans feel the same way. I don't care if Justin Fields throws interceptions. I don't care if he fumbles. Let him make those decisions. Let him grow. Let him find a mojo that works for him. You're never going to get that throwing 15 pass attempts a game. You're not. We can run the ball, and we understand that we can run the ball, and that's how you win games when you have a team. We don't have a team yet. Let Fields throw the ball. Let him get to Mooney. Let him find the connection with Mooney. Let him find the connection to Kmet. Like, let him just play. Let him get comfortable. That's all I ask. So, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. If you guys did, please leave a like, share it. Have a discussion, leave a comment. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at DestroysHere. Talk about anything Chicago related. That's fine with me. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.